Hi everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I am back with another G.I. Joe review, and continuing our look at the new, or part 2 of the G.I. Joe 50th anniversary line. From the classic Clash set, this is Storm Shadow. Now this figure is a reuse, or I think some slight retooling of the Ultimate Storm Shadow 30th anniversary G.I. Joe Renegade's body. I think the hood also comes from that Renegade set. Done up in the version 2 style of Storm Shadow when he joined G.I. Joe. But in this set, he is presented as a member of Cobra, so that's a little interesting. And I have to say, while the figure is leaps and bounds better than Spirit, is still not a great figure. Um, the accessories, actually, it's kind of funny. These accessories you see right now, the swords and the backpack, come from that great comic 2-pack of Storm Shadow from the 25th anniversary line. But we'll get a little more into the accessories in a moment. It also comes with a bow and arrow that was actually part of the Pursuit of Cobra Spirit set, but is clearly painted and marked uh, for Storm Shadow. So we'll just pause here and we'll come in for a little close up as you can, so you can see the one quote unquote flaw and issue I have with this figure. It's not showing up on camera, but I'm going to wait a second to see if some of you can figure this out. Do you see my problem with the head of Storm Shadow? And no, it's not because the pupils are painted in an upward facing fashion. Hard to show up on camera. Okay, the issue is that the neck is entirely too small for the head. It's like long and it's thin, so it kind of makes the head almost look like a bobblehead. And of course, you have those issues with the eyes painted. It's really distracting, and it's one of those things, once you notice it, you can't unsee it. So those of you who really didn't catch it, I am sorry. Other than that, this is basically the same type of body from that Ultimate Snake Eyes 30th anniversary, sorry, Storm Shadow, not Snake Eyes, Ultimate Storm Shadow 30th anniversary Storm Shadow, the Red Ninjas. So you do have that universal shoulders, bend at the elbow. Although I think the arms have been redone. I'm pretty sure that these are new arms, but the hands are basically the same. You have that great gritty sculpting, but they are done up to hold like a whole bunch of ninja weapons, which unfortunately this figure doesn't come with. And well, it can hold the swords, but I kind of get the feeling that they want to fall out. By the way, I loved these swords with that 25th anniversary 2-pack because these are dragon-headed katanas, and I think this is a little nod to Highlander. Unfortunately, the plastic is really cheap, and these kind of bend, and I really remember them making a sharper looking blade for that set. I could be wrong, but I do know that they have made better katanas since then. Moving on with the articulation, you do have an ab crunch, which is not hindered by this strap. You have a ball jointed hips, double jointed knees, and you have the enhanced articulation at the ankles, where you do have the forward and back pivot with a side to side ankle pivot, but no ankle rotation, and there's no additional like hinge swivel here at the thigh or up at the hip to allow for that, which means you're gaining some standing posability, but when it comes to kneeling or anything like that, it's just going to look like Storm Shadow has a broken ankle. I had mentioned how the swords were made of a soft plastic and were kind of warping already. Well, as you can see how they're bent. Now, I know many of you can probably fix this on your own, and God bless you that you're that handy, but for those of us who aren't, it's 2015. We'd like to get swords out of packaging that aren't bent. Now, my bigger issue is, if you remember from the 25th anniversary, this backpack can open up, and there's this great sculpted detailing of all these ninja accessories, But also, there should have been a Mac 10 included. I've checked the packaging and there is no Mac 10, which kind of makes this backpack pointless. Now, I hope that if you have a spare Mac 10, it does fit in there for you so you can use it. You do have this great Wolverine style ninja claw. I actually kind of prefer this look because you have a full grip as well as the wrist clip over the traditional ninja claw, climbing claw things that just clip onto the wrist. And as I mentioned, here's that bow and arrow set that came with Spirit originally, as well as Shadow Tracker. Now, at first, I thought, hey, they might be including this for Spirit. No, because as you can tell, the red detailing matches up on the sword and the claw. So this is definitely meant for Storm Shadow, who, if you remember the original version of the figure, as well as the 25th anniversary version of the figure, came with a compound bow and arrow instead of the traditional bow and arrow like the original version of the figure. This is sort of like the compound bow and arrow, but it's not close to what the original mold and design was, but it's close enough. In interest of full disclosure, I want to mention that in the time between the last clip you just saw and now, it was about 2 minutes it took me to actually get this figure to be able to hold the bow and arrow as you see. I also want to mention that I think I was mistaken that this is not the same bow that came with Shadow Tracker and Pursuit of Cobra Spirit and a couple other figures. This is the one that's two pieces and can actually fold. I really didn't realize that until I put it in my hand. I don't even know if he's holding this in the intended hands, but the figure can't hold the bow in the left hand. He has to hold it in the right. Um, I always thought Storm Shadow was right-handed and would draw with the right hand, but whatever. All in all, while I said this figure is better than its packmate Spirit, it is still not phenomenal. The I didn't mention the figure feels good. The plastic of the figure feels quality, both with Storm Shadow and with Spirit, but the accessories do not. Especially with Storm Shadow, the plastic just feels soft and way too malleable. It's like I think this could have gone for another quality control pass, but as a store exclusive, they probably weren't going to put the money or effort in. I, I'm just really disappointed. This was my first 50th anniversary set, and I was expecting a little bit better than what I got. Um, I picked this up off of Amazon. It's a little bit more money, but seeing as how these really haven't hit full retail yet, and the BBTS prices are a little high, especially considering they're trying to get you to buy a full set of these just to get the Gung Ho and Black Crimson Guard figure, or Shadow Guard, or whatever the heck it was called. It's just not worth it, so definitely wait until retail. As I mentioned with Spirit, when you have a two-pack, both figures have to bring something to the table in order to recommend the set, and unfortunately this one doesn't. So the classic Clash set is just an easy pass. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. If you have to have this set just for Storm Shadow, I would say wait for a sale, use a coupon, Amazon gift cards or something. But just keep in mind, you're going to have like not a plethora of accessories, but also there probably will be issues just getting it to hold the accessories. This is your old pal Chuck for Storm Shadow. We'll see you next time.